7 million able-bodied men between the ages of 25 and 54 are not only not working, they are not looking. They're affirmatively not looking for work.
There are 7 million men who have stopped looking for jobs and they're basically done working. Economist Nick Eberstad, is that how you say it? We'll just go with it. He says that there are millions of men between the ages of 25 to 54, which is basically prime working years, who have stopped looking for work. And it's not because these men can't find work.
More than 7 million men ages 25 to 54 have dropped out of the workforce just this past year.
MILF and DILF. Well, these are NILFs, the men not in the labor force. Roughly 7.2 million men in their prime working ages between 25 and 54 are simply not working. More than 770,000 manufacturing jobs are open right now, and these are high-paying jobs with many positions offering more than $30 an hour on average. So I don't want to hear these liberals say it's a pay thing. It's not. It's a freaking work ethic thing. And how did we get here?
Well, let me tell you how we got there. Well, let's see. Number one, fathers don't have rights. Number two, men aren't respected.
So we have an interesting article here. New York Post talking about disturbing rise of the NILFs, men not in the labor force. Very interesting that the mainstream is now talking about men taken out of the plantation, baby, just going their own way. And it's a problem because economic hits are coming down on us all. Government's feeling it. Tax base is feeling it. And after years and years of browbeating and telling you you're evil and destroying opportunities, shipping your job overseas, now is a problem that he decides to not play the game. Okay.
In the United States, 7 million men from ages about 25 to 54 that do not work and are not looking for work. They're not people who are not able to work, simply lazy. A boy is somebody that mama provides for. A man is somebody that provides for his own needs. But a grown-up man is somebody who provides for the needs of his wife and his children. And this generation needs more of grown-up men. God does not want men to be provided by their government. Some men say, I don't want to work. Why? Because the unemployment pays better. But it's a sin against God. The Bible says he is worse than unbeliever. And the Bible says that those denied faith who do not want to provide.
What immediately happens is my buddies on the left, to your point, when I say, why do you think there's so much opportunity here that can't be filled? They'll say, because business owners are pricks. They're greedy and they're rapacious. And if they paid more money, those jobs would fill. My buddies on the right, when I ask them the same question, will say, because people are lazy. People are just lazy. They don't want to work. They won't show up early. They won't stay late. They won't take a bite of the shit sandwich when it's their turn. They won't do the thing that needs to be done.
Lazy. Lazy.
Lazy. Lazy.
Lazy. They so lazy.
Lazy.
They're lazy.
Lazy. So lazy.
And it's because a large number of American men in particular, men in their prime working years, are actually not working. And they're not even looking for work. The result is a bit of a mystery and also a major hole in the American economy.
Many rely on safety nets, such as disability. So you may wonder, what are these guys doing instead of work? Well, kind of what you might expect. Spending nearly 7 hours each weekday on average, relaxing, playing games, and watching TV.
I can tell you for one thing, it's not because they're lazy. Let's dig into this a little bit. First and foremost, the mental health epidemic. We are forced to work more than we've ever had to for less pay than we've ever gotten. We are forced to throw away our dreams in order to work just to survive, all while not having the resources to properly cope with this. So I'm not totally surprised that some men just choose not to participate.
I love men, but I haven't met one of them who doesn't have this one flaw. It's called the lazy bone. One of my biggest frustrations with men is that it feels like they can be so lazy.
Stop calling them lazy. They're not lazy. You don't know how much effort it takes for them just to get up, just to get out of bed, just to brush their teeth, to take a shower, to eat. Sometimes they can't even do that. They only have so much energy and they're using it all right now just to stay alive, so stop calling them lazy.
A lot of people out there are on welfare. And a lot of people out there are on unemployment without even looking for a job. And you know what? I don't blame them one bit.
It's as if some giant parent somewhere has...
An uncle, maybe?
Could be a rich uncle. Yes, could be a very wealthy uncle.
Now, Mike Rowe mentioned that there is an entity that is supporting these guys and not allowing them to fail. Then he mentioned a very wealthy uncle and looked at the camera to give you a hint look. So I'm sure most of you figured out when he said uncle, he was referring to Uncle Sam, okay? The United States government. That's what he was trying to say in so many words. And he's totally correct, okay? These guys have left the workforce and now collect some sort of benefits like SSI or unemployment. And they say people on unemployment are lazy. Well, even if that was true, let them be lazy. And that doesn't make sense no way. They could not be on unemployment if they didn't previously work a job. So how can they be lazy if they previously worked a job? You see where I'm getting at?
Capitalism requires the existence of a class of people who only have their labor power to sell in exchange for basic human survival needs like food, water, and shelter. Capitalism is a system designed to deprive people of their basic human needs in order to exploit them in the workforce.
Remember, this society just wants to exploit you and use you. This is the same society that will kick you out of your house and put you in the freezing cold as soon as you can't pay that rent. And I spoke on this many times before. This is the same society that will make you work an inordinate amount of hours only to take away a large chunk of your earnings. This is the same society that suspends your license when you can't afford to pay your child support. Okay, and I spoke on that too. Now, what sense does that make? If they suspend your license, how they expect you to commute to work and earn the money to pay the freaking child support? When you can't pay for something, they take things away and make your life hell. This society is corrupt, point blank period. I know people like to defend this system. I mean, that's cool because really they're retarded and they don't see what's going on. But y'all know how I do. I'm gonna call it out. So again, I don't blame people that choose to leave the workforce and become a leech or whatever. And when I say society, I'm referring to the government, landlords, okay, your 9-to-5 job, hell, even other people. I had some of y'all email me and say your own family charges you a lot of money just to stay with them. So it's not even just the jobs or the government that just wants to exploit and use you, but it can be family too. So if you really look at this closely, society is leeching off of you, okay? They're leeching off of you, your time, your money, your energy. Society is the biggest leech, okay? But they want to call you the leech once you decide you don't want to play their little silly game. But hey, if you don't want to contribute to society, then don't. Be a leech, be a parasite. As you saw in the video clip, join the millions that have said goodbye to the workforce. Don't let anyone tell you there is something wrong with that. I assure you there is nothing wrong with that at all. People get mad when I talk like this. Well, the same people that get mad are the same people that get shafted by the system. Look at it like this. I have some friends and family members that are on SSI and no longer work. Okay, several friends of mine worked many years, became disgruntled, and got tired of the hamster wheel rat race. So they got creative and figured out a way to get out of the hamster wheel rat race. Okay? Yeah, and most of them scam the system just to get on SSI. Do I condone this type of behavior? 100%. The system leached off of them. Well, now they get to return the favor. Okay, now they get to be the leech. And they have no interest whatsoever in contributing to society. You want to know what those guys do all day? They wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They cook themselves a meal. They sit around the house, relax, and play video games all day long. They have no responsibilities. Yeah, that's what those guys do. And they dare somebody to tell them they can't do it. And they don't got kids either. They're not necessarily anti-natalists. They just looked at the idea of having kids and were like, nah, we don't need those problems. So yeah, they get to keep all that money for themselves. They are unproductive members of society, which translates to them being stress-free. And society doesn't like that, okay? Society doesn't like when you're a man and you don't have responsibilities. They say you need to grow up. They claim you're immature. Well, I mean, these guys are chilling, okay? They ain't stressed. They ain't got no problems. So what's the problem with that? I find it ironic that people that tell guys like this they need to grow up and get a real job are the same people that stress with their own jobs. Make that make sense. The same people that call these guys immature or losers are the same people that's stuck in the rat race 9-to-5 job. Now, with that being said, who's the real loser? Not these guys. These guys got everything figured out. They got everything figured out and they're winning. My bad, nah, they got everything figured out and they're leeching. And to be fair, not everyone that chooses not to work is necessarily being a leech. Like, some individuals just came up with a creative way to earn income. For example, alright, another friend of mine does not work. He has no 9-to-5 job. What he does is stay home and produce music instrumentals. Okay, so he produces beats and his production is high quality. Okay, he sells his beats for $35 a pop via his social media. Now, social media is a powerful tool if you use it correctly. And you don't even need hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. No, this guy has several thousand followers and that's it. So he uses his social media followers and directs them to his website to purchase and download the music. So let's say within the month period, he manages to sell 150 music tracks for $35. He just made over 5 racks just for doing that. You see, by monetizing his own skill set, as well as harnessing the power of social media, he's able to replace a 9-to-5 slave job with semi-passive income. Okay, now I say semi-passive because he put in work to produce the instrumentals, but it requires much less time to do that rather than working a 9-to-5 slave job. And then everything else is automated by his website. So yeah, he can easily earn 5 racks, if not more. Okay, selling as little as 150 per month. Now, let's say he got lucky and sold 300 music tracks per month. Well, just like that, he made over 10 racks. Okay, he made over 10 racks just for doing that. But despite all of that, people will still look at this guy and call him lazy because he don't got a real job. So look, even if you are not a leech and you've just come up with some other way to generate income without it being from a 9-to-5 or some other type of job, others will deem you lazy because of that. Okay, that's just how it goes. And a lot of you guys that watch these videos, I know you produce instrumentals as well. You could do the same thing, okay? Sure, it takes time. Sure, you gotta build up a little larger following, but it's definitely something doable, okay? Because this guy is proof of that, all right? Just gotta have a little bit of skill. A lot of you guys are good with your music production, okay? And you have an advantage because you possess a particular set of skills that is sought after, okay? But keep in mind, although you earn this money by using your own particular set of skills, the government is gonna leech off of you, okay? They're gonna leech off of your creativity and make you pay taxes. You see what I mean? So who's the leech? In the grand scheme of things, who's the real leech? Okay, let's ask ourselves that. Society is the real leech because everything you do, they want to get money off of you, okay?
So, I was just made aware that there are 7 million able-bodied men between the ages 25 to 45 that are not willing to work. What's up with that? So if you're somebody that knows me, you know I take pride in being a hard-working man. I've been working since 16 and I never look back. So if you see my videos, you know I'm a truck driver because you see me hopping in and out of the truck. But if it's one thing I have zero respect for, is a grown-ass man that don't work. You can't call yourself a man if you're 25 years old and you don't have a job. Yeah, you can't call yourself a man. You're a male. You are. So they're saying that these men are spending 2,000 hours on screens as far as on Instagram, TikTok, on playing video games instead of going out in the world and being men. Ridiculous. Man, y'all need to get y'all shit together. I don't got no respect for that, all right? They saying this hasn't happened since the Great Depression. Y'all got to get it together, because y'all can't really call yourselves men. To y'all parents, y'all got to let these kids go and experience life. Y'all got to let them experience life.
Then you got guys like this, and the first thing they always do is say you're not a man, you're just a male. Okay, so all of the guys that are not working, this dude does not consider them as men. He just sees them as males. Okay, so calling a man a male is supposed to be some kind of insult. And he also mentioned that he does not respect men that do not have a job or lack interest in working. I mean, well, first of all, man, who needs your respect? Second, whatever company you work for, you're seen as nothing more than a slave in their eyes. But the guys that are not working, you say they're not real men. You say they're just males. Okay, well, to be quite frank, I'd rather be just a male than a slave.
To y'all parents, y'all got to let these kids go and experience life. Y'all got to let them experience life.
All right, so y'all heard what he said. He said parents that want to keep their kids at the house, they need to let them go experience life. Now, what does he mean by experiencing life? He means getting a job and being a slave. That's what he means. He don't mean enjoying leisure time or things like that. He mean working. He mean being a slave. Okay, working the 9 to 5. That's what he mean by having kids experience life. All right, because that's what it's all about. Okay, it's all about being a slave, working for somebody else, taking orders, being an obedient sheep. And I'm going to send this gentleman the link to this video so he can watch this video. Maybe this will give him an understanding why 7 million men are leaving the workforce, because they realize that work is nothing but modern day slavery.
The number of independent women is on the rise in America, but what about the missing men?
And as the news reporter mentioned, the number of independent women are on the rise in America. Well, little do these independent women know, they're seen as nothing but slaves in the eyes of the company they work for. That is, unless she actually owns the business. Otherwise, she is nothing more than a happy slave. Even if she is a boss or manager for the company, she is still a slave because she has to answer to people above her. And a lot of times these bosses or managers, they might only get paid an extra 50 cents or $1 more than the people they're actually supervising, especially at these fast food joints. Okay, these fast food joints are notorious for that. Really, there's no incentive for taking on the extra responsibility. All right, so yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke, and it's not even a good joke. All right, it's a bad joke. So back to the people that scam the system to get on SSI. Or even people that are on disability, whatever. Okay, when you hear disability, the first thing that comes to mind is old and decrepit. All right, that's usually what comes to mind. Well, not necessarily. All right, many younger able-bodied people are on disability, and they went through hell and high water just to get it. So now that these individuals are on SSI or disability, they can sit back and chill. All right, rightfully so. They're just focused on peace and relaxation, which they finally now get to enjoy. And I know some people will come to this channel and be like, oh, it's wrong to scam the system and be disingenuous. Well, to those people that defend this corrupt system, the system is scamming you too. Okay, the system is scamming you too. If you pay taxes, don't you? All right, then they're scamming you as well. They're taking your hard-earned money and giving it to Ukraine. They're literally taking your money and giving it to people that don't even like you. Make that make sense. If that's not a huge scam, tell me what is. Pretty much, if you're not doing something under the table, they're taking your hard-earned money from you. Okay, so I don't get it when people come to this channel and defend this corrupt system. I mean, the system is getting over on you every day, okay? Now, it says right here, several U.S. senators and congressmen have come out against unemployment, saying that people on unemployment are gaming the system and that the United States can no longer afford the program. Okay, well, they got that first part right about people gaming the system, but listen to the second part. The United States can no longer afford the program. Now let that sink in. You should be baffled by what they are saying here, okay? Meanwhile, they have no problem doing this. Okay, you see that. That's $60 billion for a different country and $100 billion for another. And that's on top of the billions they have previously got, okay? They gave the money to these people, and these people right here are not even our allies, okay? But yet and still, they're playing on your intelligence, claiming that they can no longer afford the unemployment benefits program. So these are the things that need to be called out. I never heard them say the US can't afford to send billions to another country. And I surely never heard of another country routinely sending the US billions of their dollars. Okay, if you have, please let me know. But going back to the unemployment thing, during the pandemic, a lot of people were on unemployment at that time, okay? And guess what? Many of them were making more being on unemployment than actually working the job. All right, now make that make sense. So again, the people just stayed on unemployment until it ran out. Okay, and I don't blame them one bit. What is the incentive of them working so much in the first place? All right, there's people out there that work 2 jobs and can still barely get by. And I recall back in the early 90s or even the mid 90s, you could work a single minimum wage job and have a pretty good way of living. Okay, minimum wage back in 1991 was $4.25. And I know most of y'all probably wasn't even born yet, but that $4.25 could comfortably pay your bills. But yeah, try that now. Okay, try earning minimum wage from a single job and try renting an apartment these days, having a car and everything that comes with it, the insurance, utilities. And you see where I'm getting at? Okay, you'll be hard pressed to do that. So pretty much like I said in previous videos, they're not doing nothing to offset the wages. Okay, things keep going up. So yeah, when people start giving up, you know, and turn to other ways to generate money, I don't blame them one bit. Okay, I don't blame them one bit, because it's not really any incentives in working so hard these days. And a lot of guys that they interviewed even said that. Okay, they're so baffled why people don't want to work, and they interviewed quite a few people, and a lot of people admitted that there's just no real incentive for working these jobs. Okay, they're overworked and underpaid. But yeah, I just wanted to chop that up with y'all real quick. Let me know what y'all think. Until next time, embrace your inner darkness. I'll catch you on the next one.